Mix 107.3 Jack Diamond Morning Show.
Hi, it's Jack Diamond from Mix 107.3's Jack Diamond Morning Show. A couple of invitations. Feel free to tweet along with the show at twitter.com/Jack Diamond Show. If you'd like to follow my own personal tweets, it's just Jack Diamond. Online, mix1073fm.com. On iTunes, you can search Jack Diamond and download our videos. Larry Miller spent a great deal of time early in his career hanging out with the big stars like Frank Sinatra, was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson 25 times. He's still going strong. Great movies like Best in Show and The Clumps. The one and only Larry Miller on the Jack Diamond Morning Show.
And again, I like all this. We started talking about whether it was, The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Let's talk. Do you mind for a minute talking about Carson? Because obviously Johnny's been gone a few years. Jay has, done a marvelous job. He's not Johnny, but he's getting, they're trying something new, the 10 o'clock show, which is great. But if you were on Carson years ago, before there were 1,000 shows and before there were 1,000 cable channels, it made or break, would break your career. If you were great, it probably launched you into not only headlining the very next week, but headlining at big money. And if you bombed or Johnny didn't like you, it was a death knell in many cases. Now, Carson actually never went back to the dressing room to talk to guests. He wanted you to save it for the show. But he did come back to talk to you.
Well, first of all, it is like you were mentioning how Drew Carey had always said, and it's true.
Right.
It talked. The most important thing. We were all lucky because if you got to do that and you do it the first couple of times, and if you got the okay,
right, the okay
which is
sign.
what you were going for, that was great. And then the third or fourth time, you say, "All right, come on over," and you'd sit down.
Right.
It was
big deal.
It was pretty neat. And the point is, though, you mentioned that Johnny, as you said, never used to go to the dressing room. He came by once, and you remember how women used to really get dolled up for that show?
Absolutely.
The most beautiful actresses in Hollywood. But it was like they were going to the Oscars. They put on gowns and jewelry and get really made up. And one time I was there, and for comics, you don't have what do you call a big entourage? In fact, I'm not sure the word entourage matters. In fact, you're there with some guy, or just one of your friends, or an agent or something. And so I'm there with one of the other comics because we also used to go to each other's shots. And the thing is, Dana Delaney was on the show, who is not only a wonderful actress, but God bless her, as my dad would say, a healthy kid. She's a gorgeous, gorgeous woman, and she was wearing a gown that was itself complimentary. It was good for her, and I think she was very good for it. And the point is, Carson had come by. Very nice to say hello, and in fact, it's thrilling. So we're standing in the doorway there, and she walked by out of makeup in the gown and said hi, and she was, again, really, really something, just gorgeous. And so when she walked by and said hello, then we turned to each other. Carson turned to me, and he just said, he kind of leaned in and said, "Wow." And I said something like, "Whoa, yeah." And then when he left, I realized I turned to my friend and just said, "I just had a guy moment with Johnny Carson."
Larry Miller!
An absolutely gorgeous model on the show today. Been with us many times. Never looked better. Larry Miller. No, I mean Dana Delaney.
That was pretty good.